friend's a star thrifter, and she wanted to do a little video in regards to no sales. We've all been there, especially during the summer slowdown. It's been really tough, and I totally understand. And I have some really interesting information that was provided at eBay Open. I was watching some footage from it, and I think maybe you'd really benefit from it. And I have been already doing something similar to that, and I'll explain that also. Anyhow, if you're not used to watching any of my videos, I sell full time on eBay, and well, I sell full time and as a reseller, and I list on eBay, and I also list on Poshmark. But this video is in regards to eBay and no sales or very slow sales, and some steps that you can take to increase that. Anyhow, in regards to one of the things that was suggested at eBay Open, and one of the eBay employees had said, and I watched the clip of it, and um, they were asked a question in regards to, I guess, the end listings, and then just relist, or this, ending them and doing the sell similar. You go to your active listings and you have those choices, and some resellers have already been doing it where they end it and they sell similar, and there's controversy on whether that works or not. Some of the resale community thinks that it does really work, and other ones say no, it's not worth your time. You should just take time and list brand new listings. Anyhow, what I've been doing lately, because one, summer slowdown, and I'll get to what eBay says in just a moment, because of summer slowdown, and us during summer slowdown, it's really hard to go out there and thrift more and spend more money, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, sales are already slow, and you're going to go and drop, a few $100s, here or there per week. Well, I still have been going out on the dollar days where the tags change to $1, and I buy, pay up if it's a really great brand. But I used to also been, was going on Wednesdays, but I kind of cut down on it. And one of the stores I've been going to, they just been really low on inventory. But what I've been doing was, and I've done this before, is I will go to a bin that I have all my clothing out in bins out in the garage, and I'll choose, one of the bins, and I'll choose like 10 or 15 of them, and I'll end them. And then instead of just doing the sell similar and changing it up or things like that, what I would do is totally end them and then create a brand new listing on eBay, right from the get-go. But what I would do is screenshot the photos that I have already taken. I didn't have to do that portion again or do any of the editing of the photos. And I would create the listing new, and then I would just upload the screenshotted photos and then relist it, and I have been selling some. What eBay Open had to say, it goes through 9 months cycle where it will renew and things like that. But after the listing gets a certain percent old, it's probably just not going to be seen anymore. And it kind of does make sense if you think about it. I mean, now if you have something rare and you don't have a lot of competition, it's not going to be a problem, because there's not going to be very many listings, and if you're on the bottom or close to that, people will still see it. But when you're in a category where it's more saturated, especially with clothing, then there could be just, people could scroll for just a really, really, really long time to see all of them. There could be, hundreds or thousands of an item that's similar to what you have listed, especially if they're just, very average brands or whatever. That means that it's way at the bottom. And what he suggested doing was to end the listing and do the sell similar, because when you do that, then it will, if I said that wrong prior, I apologize, because they go through cycles where it just kind of keeps going and renews or whatever, 30 days. But anyways, he said to go ahead and end the listing and do the sell similar. And at that point, since you're doing that, it might be best to just change the title a little bit or something in the item specifics, and then recheck your comps too, because prices can fluctuate. And with clothing, I mean, I was just reading a thing on Facebook today on one of the threads in regards to the Miss Me jeans, and they used to sell for quite a bit of money. And now, I mean, they've really bottomed down, on pricing. I guess especially if they're the, more the flare and the shorter inseam. But I mean, they used to sell for quite a bit. I don't even know how much, peak they were at, but I know some people I thought was around 80, at least to $50. Now it could be 20 to 40, and it just happens. But anyhow, I'm going to show you on the computer how you can find out how old your listings are, because you might be, I mean, I have 2,500 items listed, and you might be saying to yourself, how can I find out how old these things are if they're past 9 months, because that's going to be a lot of days. And the only spot that I have found, that you can find out how old they are, is when you go, if you have a store and you go to markdown, where you can, do the promotions, go under promotions, go to a markdown sale. When you bring that screen up and it has the items, listed that you can put on sale, over to the right, and I'll show you, it has how many days it's been listed. And that will tell you how old it is. The only problem is you can't end the listings in that, on that screen, where you're doing a sale. You can't end them then. I don't know, and if you know of a way that you can find out the age and a screen where you can end them right there, that would be great. But I think when you pull up just, and I'll double check it, but I think when you just pull up your items active, it doesn't tell you how many days. But I know for sure it does when you go to the promoted, or, under promotions where you're going to create a sale. And I'm going to show you. Okay, you're on the screen where it says promoted listings. Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. And, right over here, if you can see the arrow, whatever, and it's, the promotions, wherever. What you want to do is go over here to the left side and click on Markdown Sale. We're just going to do a fake one right now. We're not actually going to create a sale, but just to be able to show you. Go over here where it says Creative Promotions on the right, and you click on Sales Event Markdown. And then it's going to ask you, what percent you're going to want to have your sale at. Let's just say if it's at 10%. And then you can go over here and you click on selected items. And then you have the choice of, either create rules or, go to selective items. When you click on selective items, it's going to bring up all your listings, all of them. And as you can see, if I scroll, there's just tons of them. But let's see, on this first one, right here, if you go all the way over to days on site, and it's going to be over on the right hand side. We're going to go over this way. And can you see it over here? It's over here where it says days on site. This particular one has been up there. I hope you can see this. Okay, sorry about that. I was having some issues with the camera. It's been up there for 473 days. And that's a lot of days, and that's how you can tell, if you scroll down a little bit farther, this one, over here, it's been up there for 303 days. But that's how you can tell. But I think I will check on just on selling and on active and see if it tells us how many. We'll go under active real quick just to see if it does say, how many days it's been listed. Okay, no, it does not. It just tells you, all the other information that you need, but it's not telling you how old. It tells you how many days are listed in the 30-day period. You know what I mean? Like over here to the right, it says 14 days, 11 hours, and 19 minutes. That's when it's going to renew. But it doesn't tell you how long that particular one, that's the same item. And it just, that's how soon it's going to end, but it's not telling me it's been on there for 400 and some days. But you're able to be able to see on the screen there. I know it was kind of funky. This looks like it's a little crooked, but I know it was kind of, hopefully I had it right, because I was trying to hold the phone and, video at the same time. But anyways, that's where you can tell. The basic bottom, information on this particular video in regards to the no sales is that the best way to correct it when they get over 9 months old, then, or, you could do it before then, but if you get to that, they're probably not going to really be showing up too much anymore. And the listing, I always check error because I don't know if you should do sold. And I know someone else said that too. How come you're ending the listing? And and you probably, just maybe do it on the ones that are getting ready to renew anyways, because some people that don't have a store, or I don't know if you can do this with, if you don't have a store, but even if you do have a store, if you have a limited amount of how many you can list per month without getting charged a fee for listings, but still, it kind of makes sense just to go and do those first. But, and maybe do, a whole bunch of them. I don't know how many you should do a day. They did not say. As far as I've ever heard, you don't get penalized, but I really don't like to do a ton. Now, when they've had changes go on the site where you had to go in there and fix stuff, I would edit a whole bunch of those, but those weren't really ending them. But I have ended quite a few of them at a time, but I really try not to do that many a day. But I list around 20 a day. And if I end, around 20 a day, I think that that would be all right because, that means that if I'm doing the ones that are ending really soon, then there's going to be 20 per day, because that's how I've listed. But, some days I've listed less than that, but that's my, like, my kind of my average has been. But anyhow, end the listing and do sell similar, not relist, but the sell similar. Now, I would probably change a little bit, recheck comps, maybe change something in item specifics or in the description, and if you want to in the title, that's fine, or whatever. And I have caught a few errors that I've had too by redoing that. It's very easy to make an error, and we try not to. Anyhow, hopefully you've got some benefit out of this, and like I said, I have been doing that with my old listings. Now, I do not know if it really makes a big difference just to end and sell similar, or end and I create a whole brand new listing. Now, some people say that it's the same item. If it didn't sell the first time, that's a waste of time to redo a whole new listing. But I disagree with that on some of the items because, yeah, some of them you might get some duds or whatever, or it's really a saturated market or brand, that you have listed. But a lot of these are items that I know will sell. They're items that are popular and they're a great fabric and a decent, nice brand. And I've been releasing them, especially because I list clothing all year round, whether it's summer or winter, and they're a summer or winter, clothing item. And let's say if I've been listing sweaters now for a few months, but if it was the very first part of summer, you know, maybe now 3 or 4, if it's been 3 or 4 months and it was a sweater, that might be a really great candidate to end that. And then I create the listing all over from, start, because I know that's a great brand. It's going to be more in demand now because we're approaching, more of the winter months. But that's just to, give you some tidbits because I know how frustrating it is not to have sales or have sales really tank. And it really does make you wonder because don't you ever sit there and say to yourself, it's like with me, I have 2,500 items listed. And you say to yourself, well, how come I have to list every single day? And a lot. Because if I don't, the more you list every day, the more you sell. But I already got 2,500 items out there. Couple things make sense. One, it's activity on the account and AB really likes it, and it is a numbers game. The more you list every day, the more you'll sell every day, regardless of how many you have up. Now that does play a part because you're going to sell more if you have more listed. Like from 100 to 1,000. That's a big difference. But what I mean is, if like with mine, I have 2,500 listed. If I don't list for a whole week, my sales are going to tank. And 2,500 might not be a lot to some people that's got 5,000, but to a lot of the average resellers, they have any sure what they any views in regards to that. But this end sell similar, I'm gonna start really paying more of attention, because I got a lot of old listings. If I got that many items up, some of these have been listed for quite a long time. I really like to sell most of my items within 3 months, don't we all? But some of them may sit a half a year or 1 year. I last night I was doing some that I ended and was creating a new listing for, and I think I had two of them. They're almost like a year old. They wouldn't even been seen, and they were men's and they were sweaters. You know, Anyhow, just a couple ideas for you. Hopefully you'll benefit from this, and if you'd like, you can subscribe. I got a lot of other videos up in regards to eBay tips, also thrift hauls, and some Poshmark videos. If you do any Poshmark, and I was in Poshmark jail first first time. I haven't ever even been in Facebook jail before, but I have a whole video in regards to that. It was in regards to using one of the cross listers that has the share feature, and that's a really great item or video to watch if you sell on Poshmark and you use, or you've been thinking about using any of the cross listers. And I do use it now, but very limited. And I kind of go in there and just, I don't set it up where it's just continuous list, sharing. Anyways, and I didn't ever use the cross lister in regards to actual, cross listing the listings, but I was using it just for sharing. And anyhow, if you could push a thumbs up, I greatly appreciate it. Many prosperous sales to you. Thank you.